I guess on my hair, she looked alright, and with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. Okay, let's first get out that I am extremely nervous to speak on this subject. I'm still not sure exactly what I'm going to caption this video, but by the time you all see it, I guess I would have chosen one. But today, basically, I would like to talk about pretty privilege. Many people like to say that it does not exist. I am someone who thinks that is one of the biggest lies I've ever heard, honey. Pretty privilege does exist, and many people, whether they acknowledge it or not, do benefit from it. Many people take advantage of it, and it sucks. Let's just put it like that. When someone has an advantage, they know they have that advantage, and they take advantage of that and cause harm to others with it, then to me, that's a very bad thing. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in. The world we live in is not fair, and there is privilege. And one of the videos that I would really like to talk about is a video I'll leave linked right here above. I want to make sure I give you all the exact title. It is called I Don't Have Pretty Privilege and That Sucks. It's from a channel called Stephco, and I'm going to make sure I leave that link in the description bar as well, because I want you all to really check that video out before you watch this one. In her video, she made some extremely valid points. And one of those points that she made that I completely agree with is the fact that confidence in yourself is the most important thing in this world. If you truly don't believe you're beautiful, it doesn't matter what other people think of you, it's not going to mean anything. But she also said we live in a world where how other people feel about your beauty does dictate how they may treat you and how far you may advance in this lifetime. And unfortunately, that is a sad fact. Many people seem to find that getting through life and getting through the daily struggles in life is a lot easier for people who are considered generally attractive. Many features, whether that be male or female, are considered a beauty standard, and although different races have certain, things that they find beautiful, there are certain features that just across the board many people seem to like. Things like, unfortunately, having lighter skin seems to be more attractive, or is deemed more attractive by the general public than having darker skin. Women having larger breasts and wider hips and smaller waists, which a lot of times you see on women who surgically receive those features, not were naturally born with those, and it sets unrealistic standards on many people. And unfortunately, we live in a world where it seems like the beauty standards are unrealistic, but there are those select few who seem to have the privilege. They know they have the privilege, and they take advantage of that, and it's nothing you can do about it. It's just that. And in that video, the one thing that I did love was the fact that she did not speak down on herself like, oh, I'm just straight up ugly, I'm this. She let it be known. I like my features. I feel as if I'm an average looking person in the world, but I'm not going to lie to myself and tell myself that men are throwing themselves on the ground when I walk into the room. I don't receive that treatment, but I do see that treatment being given out, so I know it exists and I know how it affects me. And to me, it was sort of shocking to have someone come out and actually say that out loud as a woman, because many times you don't hear women saying things like that. And unfortunately, in the past 2 months since I've originally watched that video, I've shown that video to a lot of different women, and it's crazy how many other women feel as if they feel just like her. And I'm not gonna lie to you all. It would not be fair for me to come in here and sway, you know, things like, oh, I don't know what it feels like to, because, honey, I benefit from pretty privilege too. It's just, it's something I did not always know that I had. But once it hits you, it comes out like a ton of bricks like, wait, that's what pretty privilege is? Wait, that person did that because of this, not because of... And another video that she brought up, I want to make sure I pull that one up. In that video by Stephco, she brought up a viral video on TikTok. I'm going to make sure I leave that video linked right here. It is called Tell Me You Have Pretty Privilege Without Actually Telling Me You Have Pretty Privilege. And in that, it's a bunch of young ladies who've responded and talk about the treatments they received simply because they are beautiful. And some of them, you sit back and you listen and you go, wait, dang, you got that? Oh my God, people did that for you. But a lot of them, when they came out and said them, it was like, wait, I get that too. Wait, that happens for me too. And it's small things that, when it's a normal and consistent thing that goes on in your life, you don't realize just how beneficial it is and how hurtful it can be to someone who's not receiving that. One of the most popular things that was said is, when I go to the bar, I'm always let in, and I never have to show ID. That was something I never had to do. And I always assumed it was because I was tall. I'm not sure if you all know this, but I'm a 6'1" black man. But I always thought because I was so tall, nobody questioned whether my age was appropriate, because they figured the only way I could be this tall was to be an adult. Even when I was a child, I was able to sneak out and get into the clubs a little younger than what I should have been doing. But come to find out, it was because I had a very soft feminine look. And in the gay club, you need somebody on the dance floor, and baby, I ain't gonna lie to you. I tell everybody, I have my father's height and my mother's look. Although you don't see it on camera, honey, I got a shape to me. And by that I mean I got a fat ass. Like, I got a fat ass. A fat, big donkey ass. Just like my mama. So whenever it was time to go to the club, I knew I wanted to dance just because I thought it was fun. But another thing they brought up in that TikTok video was, I never had to buy my own drinks at the club. Nope. Don't know what it felt like. I knew if I was sitting at the bar, somebody was going to come up and offer me a drink so they could sit there and talk. And I knew if I was on the dance floor and stepped over to the table, somebody was going to buy me another drink so I can get back on the dance floor. It's the truth. Did I go with my own money just in case? Yes, because you never know what was going to happen. But did I leave the bar every time I went drunk? Yes, because somebody else was buying all my drinks. Because they were interested in being with me. If not, I'm not saying long term or nothing like that. Maybe even just for the night. You wouldn't get none, but you thought you was going to try. And it became to a point where I didn't even question whether someone was going to approach me. One of the things they said is never being able to step into a room without grasping the attention of everyone. Unfortunately, I grew up thinking everybody was staring at me because, once again, I'm tall and I'm gay. I thought that was something you always noticed. It was because a lot of times, most people couldn't tell whether I was a pretty girl or a pretty guy, but at the end of the day, they always considered me pretty. I didn't realize that at first. I didn't. And it didn't really, truly bop me in the head and hit me until last month, for the month of Pride. I decided I was going to just give up makeup, I was going to give up shaving, I was going to give up hair, everything, just to sit back and just be natural, raggedy me. I was going to focus on healing. I wasn't worried about my beauty routine or anything like that. And I generally feel as if I look my best when I have a clean shaven look. Right now, I'm shaving. I am wearing eye makeup right from here to here, but I'm not wearing any foundation, concealer, or anything like that, except right here under my immediate under eye, just because I was playing in eyeshadow. But with or without makeup, I've always been told that I was a very pretty person. And it wasn't until last month that I started growing my facial hair back in. And just for you all can see it, I'll post a video right here where you can see me with and without makeup, with and without facial hair. And you can see in this particular video, in this particular picture here, I usually like to cake it on. I love a full coverage look. But with that look, I have a very feminine look to myself, and most people have always told me how pretty I was. But even without the makeup, and you can see with my natural hair texture and with my natural facial hair, all the compliments went from how pretty you are to, oh my God, I never knew how handsome you are. Oh my God, why don't you grow your facial hair out? And it felt weird to know that when most people go from switching their look up from one way to a complete opposite, it's usually what happened. What did you do to yourself? Most people who generally have a very femininized look usually don't switch to the other side and also receive that same attention. And for me, it seemed weird because all of a sudden, women who I had been friends with, had been cool with since even before high school, were suddenly treating me differently. Instead of me just being the cool gay friend that we could hang out with, all of a sudden I was receiving DMs. I was receiving offers to come over and hang out all of a sudden. I was receiving offers for food and things like that. I was being reminded that I don't have children, and if I was looking for one, they didn't have any either. And it's like, honey, did you offer to be a surrogate on a slide? Did you just offer me a whole child over a beer, sis? And it's like, okay, Torrence, this feels weird. And I'm someone who's always felt as if, personally, I look average. I never thought anything was exceptional or, necessarily beautiful about my looks. I grew up thinking my mother and my sister are absolutely beautiful. To me, they were the two most beautiful women in the world. You couldn't tell me nothing about them. And I just figured I look sort of like them, but not quite. I'm a dude. I'm exceptionally tall. I don't have the figure they got, but I guess what I saw ain't what was really there. Everybody else like, no, you don't have to ask nobody, is that your sister? We can tell. You don't have to ask nobody where you got that shit from. If we see your mama, we instantly know, like, it's there whether you want to acknowledge it or not. And I believe that comes from me because I started off with extremely humble beginnings, honey. And by that I mean I grew up believing the cards were against me, so I need to go in with some humbleness because you don't have it like that. I grew up poor in a world full of riches. I grew up black in a world that seems to be run by, white people and people of fairer skin. I grew up in a household where it was just my mother as head of household instead of most households where it seemed like you were raised by a mother and a father. My parents lived in separate households. I grew up where I was gay and the world seemed straight. That was another big one too. So I looked at it as what the world sees as acceptable and beautiful and as goals in this lifetime doesn't seem to be what I present to the world. And so, another one. I grew up fat in a world full of skinny people. Baby, that was a big one. I'm like, I know you're forgetting something. I don't know how I forget the biggest piece of the puzzle. So for me, I always looked at it as the world isn't going to see me as beautiful because everything that they seem to put out on the billboards and everything you see on television does not seem to emulate what I am. Guess the chips fell in my favor because although I seem to be my biggest critic and although I seem to have an opinion of myself or what I look like, it wasn't until someone broke it down to me and let it be known, like, you not ugly, you just fat, honey, and because you don't think you fat, you don't have the confidence that you should carry yourself with. And once they said it, it was like a light bulb just went off, like, you right. Because although it's probably going to happen now since I'm putting it in the universe, I can honestly say I have never in my life been called ugly. Never. And if someone was to say it, I'm at a point in my life where I would genuinely believe you're just lying. And it's not about being cocky, it's about being honest with myself, and years of hearing things like, you're not my type. I've heard that before. I've heard you're not my type because maybe you're too tall, maybe you're overweight, maybe you're too feminine, maybe you just don't make enough money and you broke. Like, I've heard a lot of things, but I've never heard someone, not even in an argument with someone I'm not friends with or just not cool with, tell me that I was ugly. I might have been called a bitch, I might have been called a hoe, I might have been called broke, but I've never genuinely been called ugly. I've been told you got an ugly vocabulary. When my grandmother snuck in the room and heard me whispering the gospel to my sisters using profanity, but no one has ever looked me in the face and told me that you are an ugly person. And I think that's because I'm a man who can pass for a female at times. 99% of the time when I step into the world, most people approach me and treat me like a woman. And it's something that I just have come to accept as normal, and it's not something that I realize they're not doing it simply because you're gay and this is the lifestyle you've come out to your family and said, hey, this is who I am, you're gonna have to accept it or you're just not gonna have me in your life. My family may have respected that, but the stranger that's standing at the door when I'm walking in the gas station and he holding the door for me, he's not doing that because I'm gay and I accept myself. He's doing that because I have soft features, I got a big behind, and when I come up there, he wants to put out a good impression on me because he thinks I'm physically attractive. That's what it is. When I go to the club, well, we haven't been in Lord knows how long, I know for sure I'm not going to be able to stand over and be a wallflower. Somebody's going to come over and stop and speak to me and ask, what you doing over here all by yourself? Dang, you ain't got no friends, blah, blah. Someone's going to try to speak to me. Whether it be for the features of my face or the features of my body. I just generally have I've inherited features that are just considered beautiful by the general public, and I would be lying if I said that's a bad thing. Does it come with its pros and its cons? Of course, like everything in this world. There's nothing like wanting to just get up, run to the store, grab something real quick, and get back in the house. And having someone stop you and hold you up and try to have a conversation because they just got to have your number. They just got to ask you out. They just know you a good person. It's like, honey, I'm giving you attitude. I'm trying to go on. I'm telling you I already got a man and you still, oh, you can't have friends? If I was that type of person, why would you want to be interested in me? Why? Because for some, and for unfortunately a very large portion of people in this world, beauty is enough. And I'm here to tell you, no, it's not. I would be lying if I said that I'm single and it ain't by choice. Because if I just wanted a man, finding a man is easy. Finding a man is easy. But I understand I want someone who I find beautiful on the inside and the outside. And I would be lying if I told myself I don't want nobody that's beautiful on the outside. Yes, I do. I wake up in the middle of the night and I don't want to be scared by you. It is what it is. I'm not going to apologize for that. I like beautiful things. That's why I have makeup on. I find makeup beautiful. I find myself beautiful. Bringing them both together made it even prettier for me. It is what it is. And if you look at my dating history, honey, it speaks for itself. I date some exceptionally beautiful men, but they have to have more than that to offer. If you can see that, honey, it ain't nothing I can do for you because ain't nobody going to blow your head up like you, and I refuse to. If you a cheater, honey, I can't do it because nobody's activities on the side is worth putting my health at risk. So if you want to be with the streets, you can have the streets. I'll find someone else or I'll sit at home alone. If you disrespectful and you like to call people out their name when you get upset and then try to apologize out, no, you can go, honey. No. I don't take disrespect at home. I don't take it from the job. I don't take it from the neighbors. And I'm not going to take it from somebody who I'm trying to spend my life with. I'm not going to enjoy peace outside the house and come home and be stressed out. You have to go. I feel as if I bring the package, so I'm going to accept nothing but the package. And until I find it, my pretty little ass going to sit right here by myself. And that's what it brings up another video. The last one that I want to talk about is a video many people may not have liked, but I want to make sure I leave that video linked right here. It is by Toni Bryanne, and it is called The Disadvantages of Pretty Privilege You Didn't Know. Because although I did want to start this off about the old Stephco video and how she feels as if it is bad for pretty privilege, how it is bad that she does not have pretty privilege. I also wanted to put it out there, another video where someone who feels as if they are beautiful and feels as if they receive treatment from the public that they are beautiful, and let it be known that it's not all peaches and cream, honey. It is not. When you genuinely feel as if you've met someone and you realize you've invested time and energy into, we're going to say, whether it be a relationship, an entanglement, whatever you have going, and you really care about that person and you find out the only thing they care about is your looks, that's a hit to your heart. That messes with your mental ability when you realize someone may never genuinely care about who I am as a person, what my dreams are, what my goals are, the things that I want to do when I retire, the type of places I want to travel. They don't care about none of that. The only thing they care about is me being pretty and me being on their arm. I promise you, it'll make you feel like an object instead of a person. And a lot of people don't like to speak on that side of it, but I'm here to tell you, although I can say I consider myself to be a beautiful person and I believe that I benefit from pretty privilege, one of the main reasons that I am single is because most of the people who are trying to get close to you are only trying to get to you because they find you attractive. They just want to hit it and quit it and be gone. And unfortunately, if you are someone who doesn't feel as if you are conventionally beautiful and you feel as if you don't get the attention, you don't get the DMs, you don't get the likes and things like that, a lot of people who are getting them wish they could just turn it off. There's nothing like posting just a regular picture. You could post a picture of what you had for breakfast and get a DM from a dude of a dick pic telling you could have ate this for breakfast. And it's like, one, I don't know you. Two, I'm upset. And three, I don't even want to eat my breakfast now because you just spoiled my appetite. But that's something you have to deal with. Catcalling. That's another thing you have to deal with, that you could just be walking your dog up the street and you just want to go, and unfortunately any and all women can feel unsafe in an environment where they feel as if they are outnumbered by a group of men. But imagine knowing they aren't only looking at me because they find you vulnerable, they're also looking at you because they find you desirable. So you may try to take something from me that I can't, replace or get back. Robbing me for my purse is one thing. Taking my innocence is a whole nother. And that's something that all women have to deal with. But as someone who generally feels as if any and all relationships that I have with someone who could potentially be a partner, it sucks knowing I have to wonder, do you care about more than just what's on the outside? And for most people, we find that it's not. And we find that it's hard to do so. But it is nice to know that there are people out there who generally do care about more than looks. There are people who generally want to know what's on the inside, because as someone who used to be a freelance makeup artist, I'm going to just say it. Most of the brides, all of the brides. I mean, some of them may have been a little bit older, so they may not fit the general standard of, young, tight, supple skin, beautiful, long hair. Some women do get married in their 50s, 60s, 70s, so they do have wrinkles and gray hairs and things, which are still beautiful. But in my opinion, if I had to say, how would you rank the women whose makeup you did for their weddings? And I would say they were exceptionally beautiful women. Was that the sole reason they were getting married? No, because most of the brides I knew outside of there, so I knew they were kind. I knew the type of work they did for charities. I knew the type of work that they did for their families. I knew the things that they did with the PTA meeting. So their husbands not only found a woman who was beautiful on the outside, but they found a spiritual woman and a giving woman and a kind woman, which just made them seal the deal. I found someone who, you know, is beautiful on the eyes and peaceful on my mind. So I didn't hit the jackpot. But I would be lying if I said I did a wedding where the bride generally sat there and said or felt as if she was not a stunning woman before I put the makeup on. And if she didn't, she dang sure didn't say it, but trust me, she felt beautiful when she left. I bet you that. And I'm not sure exactly how this video is going to go across because I genuinely do not want to come off as someone who's narcissistic or, you know, has a big ego, because anybody who knows me can tell you, honey, I am a very humble person, but I'm a hardworking and honest person, and I would be lying if I said that I don't find myself attractive and I'm not told by others how pretty I am. Since high school, there's always been this phrase, many people have switched it up, but they've always said, if you wanted to know who the prettiest girl in the room is, ask Torrence, because I'm quite sure he's friends with her. And it's because I generally try to, or I've come to find out that I usually am friends with all the pretty girls, because one, I do makeup, so honey, I need models. I usually see that the pretty girls are the ones who don't mind adding a little bit of blush, a little bit of eyeshadow, and this, and taking pictures because they like taking pictures. They're comfortable in front of the camera. So it's easier to do that than to try to find the shy girl and convince her, honey, I see the beauty in you. Why don't you see it? Let's sit down and I can show you how you can get your angle from this. Maybe because you're taking the picture like this, it doesn't look right. If you took it holding it like this, you'll have a more flattering look. Many times getting that shy girl who doesn't see the beauty in herself, it's a lot harder to do those type of things. So I may have always found myself being friends with the pretty girl. I mean, birds of a feather flock together, honey. I've always considered myself one of the pretty girls because I've always been treated like one of them. And I just really want to know, if you all have made it this far in the video, what is your opinion on pretty privilege? One, do you believe that it actually exists? And two, do you believe that you are someone who has benefited from pretty privilege? Please leave a comment down below and make sure that you all still check out those 3 videos that I linked. I'm going to make sure I leave those in the description bar below. I'm going to hope that this does not come over bad and that you all do not eat me for filth, because once again, I'm just being honest about a subject that many people just don't seem to like to talk about. Pretty privilege exists. I'm not going to deny it, and I'm not going to let anyone else deny it in my presence, honey. We're going to have to talk about that. If I overhear you and I'm in a restaurant, honey, I'm going to slap my chair over and hear your opinion on that, because I need to know why you think it don't. But this video is about to cut off. I don't have much time left on this camera, so I hope you all truly enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and with nothing else, goodbye, YouTube.